Thank you for being part of this year's St. Petersburg Science Festival. We're doing the virtual version this year, of course. I'm meteorologist Nick Marianos with Spectrum Bay News 9. And Spectrum Bay News 9 is a proud sponsor of the St. Petersburg Science Festival. And today we're going to have a fun experiment for you to talk about one aspect of weather that affects us every single day, and that is wind. And we're going to demonstrate how air pressure creates wind, and typically air flows from a region of higher pressure to an area of lower pressure. So we're going to create some pressure differences using a plastic bottle. We're going to eventually fill this up with a little bit of water, and then we're going to put high pressure in this, and we're going to watch the water escape the bottle through a straw and into this cup. So you have the materials with you here in the science kits that were provided, and let's get started on this. The materials that you're going to need for this experiment, starting off with an empty bottle of water. I have two because I don't have a sink right here, right? So I had to start off with a little bit of water in one. So we'll get to that in a second. You're going to need an empty bottle of water. You're going to need a straw. You're also going to need a cup because remember, the water that's in this bottle will be flowing through the straw into this cup. You're also going to need some tape, maybe some modeling clay, to make a seal when you put a hole into this bottle. But in order to put the hole in the bottle, you're going to need scissors to do so. So here's that. And then I also have food coloring. It's not required. I just have this because I'm going to put it in the water to make more of a visual so you can kind of see more freely the water flowing into this plastic cup. And then last but not least, you're going to need a balloon because you're going to be filling the balloon with air, putting it over the bottle, and that will create some high pressure. So let's get started with this experiment. You can follow along. You're going to take this empty bottle of water, and what you're going to do is you're going to kind of make a little hole, an incision there about midway through. A good way to do that is maybe like by squeezing the bottle, and this is going to be where your straw goes in. So you don't want it too low. You're going to want it about midway in the bottle. So you're going to create kind of like a triangle cut here and then here. I'm not going to physically cut this because I just did it with this bottle over here. So we're going to switch to this bottle, and I'm not sure if you could see, but there's the hole, and the water line is just below it. So once I cut the hole in the bottle, I then put water inside of it. So now we have a bottle filled with water with the opening right there that the straw will be going into in just a bit. So now you're done with the scissors. You can place the scissors off to the side. I'm going to, at this point, just put in the food coloring just to give a visual so you can see the water flowing a little bit more freely and just let that do its work there. Now you can see we have green water. How about that? All right. So as the food coloring sits in place here, just gonna give a little swirl just to see I'm spilling it a little bit. That's okay. All right. So the next step here is you're going to use your straw. You're going to put the straw right there into the opening, all right? And then you're going to place the cup there on the side because the water eventually will be flowing into this cup. But I need to create a seal because if you put pressure in this, the air is going to escape through the openings around the straw. So using your modeling clay, using tape, you want to seal that. You can even use chewing gum too. I don't have any of that right now. I just have tape, but tape works perfectly fine for this experiment. So what I'm doing now is just taping around the straw to create that seal so the water and the air don't escape around that. All right. So if you can see, I'm going to just keep putting a few more pieces of tape on this. All right, and just one more piece. Put it right here on the top. And there you have it. So what we have to do next is create high pressure in this bottle, and eventually it has nowhere else to go but go to an area of lower pressure, and this cup will be an area of lower pressure. This is kind of like a railroad scenario when you have, let's say, higher pressure over the Gulf of Mexico during the day, and then during the afternoon, you have your heating of the day right over inland spots, and you get that rising air. And that rising air creates an area of lower pressure right there at the ground. So you have to fill that void. So what happens during the day when you create a void over our inland spots away from the coastline? You get the sea breeze that takes in. So you have air suddenly coming in from the Gulf of Mexico onshore as your sea breeze because the pressure over the Gulf is higher versus our inland spots because of the rising air. You have a void here at the ground, so now you have to fill that void so that pressure change from high to low from the Gulf of Mexico to the inland spots is the sea breeze and what we know as wind. So we're going to just put a demonstration on this. I have to create high pressure in the bottle, so I'm going to take the balloon and just blow it up a little bit. And the next thing you're going to do is take the opening. It's kind of a little bit tricky. I recommend maybe using a clothespin to clamp this balloon off. I don't have a clothespin with me, but what I can do is just clamp it with my fingers and then try not to spill the bottle over with water, right? And then all of a sudden, I have the balloon on top. So we're about to begin the experiment. Once I let go of this balloon, the water is going to go right here, the air, excuse me, is going to go from the balloon into this bottle. And what's going to happen is the pressure is going to be greater in the bottle than on the outside. So it's going to force whatever liquid is in here to go through the straw into an area of lower pressure, and that's going to be simulating wind. So watch this. I'm going to count to 3. I'm going to let go of the balloon, and you're going to see the water go right here into this cup. So 3, 2, 1. And there you have it. See that? There it is, from higher to lower pressure. And I'm just going to take the balloon off before the cup overflows. But nonetheless, that's how air pressure differences creates wind from an area of higher to lower pressure. So either way, I hope you learned something new with this week's, with the Science Festival this year, with the St. Petersburg Science Festival, with this fun experiment. Don't forget, on our website, we have a lot more of our other experiments, including a lot more weather experiments and how to make your own at-home weather station on BayNews9.com. I hope you had fun.